Hello and welcome to this video about webMethods Integration Server and our new tool to update ART adapter connections. So what are we talking about today? As the title already gave away, it is about automatically changing the configuration of adapter connections. As you probably know, adapters allow Integration Server to connect to external systems. And since external systems differ between environment types like test and production, their connection details need to be changed when moving Integration Server to a new environment. This becomes even more frequent when we are talking about containers, especially when it is in the context of a container orchestration platform like Kubernetes and OpenShift, when tens, hundreds, or perhaps even thousands of instances are created automatically. And especially in the container context, it is necessary to do these changes before starting up Integration Server. So you need a tool to do it without Integration Server running, and so far no easy solution has been available. And this is where the Yarntech ART Connection Updater, or JTACU for short, comes into play. So how does the tool work? This is probably the right point to mention that the tool really only works for adapters that are based on the Adapter Runtime Framework, short ART. And this is also why the ART is in the name of the tool. Well-known adapters that are using the ART framework are the JDBC adapter and the SAP adapter. And a notable example that is not using it is the AS400 adapter. So if that is what you're using, I'm sorry, but the tool is not for you. With that out of the way, let's look how things work. The connection details are stored on disk. That is probably not a surprise. And there are two places that we need to look at. The first one is regular parameters, and those are in a node.ndf file, which is basically XML, within the package, and the directory corresponds with the namespace of the connection. But there's one setting, and that is the password, that is not stored in the node.ndf file. The node.ndf file contains a reference, but the actual value, the actual password, is stored in the password manager of Integration Server. So these are the two places that we need to work with. We are lucky in that there are APIs that we can leverage to access the files without running Integration Server. And we do not have to deal with the nitty-gritty details of these files. So it's relatively comfortable to do these things. However, some of the APIs are not public. And while they are expected to be stable from my point of view, but you absolutely do need to test things. Whenever a fix is installed, whenever a version is changed, whenever an environment is changed. But again, Integration Server has been around for a long time, and the vast majority of its APIs have been kept fantastically stable. With that disclaimer out of the way, let's look at what the demo contains. We will start with a running instance of Integration Server and have a look into the details of the JDBC adapter connection that we want to change with the tool. We will then shut down Integration Server, run the tool, start up Integration Server again, and see what has changed. So here we are in our demo environment, and let's start by looking into the adapter details. So we go to Adapter, JDBC adapter, and here is our sample connection. And if I click on View, I can see that the server name is db1.acme.com, and this is one of the values that we are going to change, and the password is the other. So let's check what the password looks like right now. I go over to Designer, and then into the WM public package, Security, Outbound Passwords. And first thing is we need to find out what exactly our password handle looks like. For that we have the list keys service, and we need to set the isInternal flag to true, and there's another thing that needs to be done prior to that I'll show you in a second. And if we run this, we get all the keys, all the keys, and this one is what we need to use later. For this service invocation to work, we need to change an extended settings because by default it is not allowed to use to show the internal keys. So we go into the web UI, settings, extended settings, and here we click the search button and type internal. And this is the one that we need. And we need to set this to true. And I've already done it on this system. So let's go back to Designer. Let's copy this. And the password is manage3. So we know what the server value looks like, or the server name looks like, and we know what the password looks like. And with that, we can shut down integration server, run the tool, bring up integration server, and see the changes. So integration server has been stopped. Let's now look what the tool does if you call it without any parameters. This is the batch file that acts as a wrapper, and there's a shell script corresponding in functionality available for Linux systems. And it tells us that we need to provide 3 command line parameters. First is the directory with the node NDF file that contains the connection details. It is important that we are not talking about the path to the file, but to the directory in which the file lives. Second parameter is the namespace of the connection, and that is needed for the password. And then there is the property file that contains the changes. I have prepared that statement. And this is what it looks like. So we have integration server in a normal installation. And you can see that the path corresponds with the namespace that is shown as the second parameter. And then there's the file that contains the changes. Oh yeah, and before we do that, let's look into the change file. That is probably helpful as well. And it contains 2 changes. One is for the server name and the other is for the password. And the old server name, or the current server name before running this, is db1.acme.com, and the current password is manage3. So for the server name, we are increasing by 1, and for the password, we are decreasing by 1. But now let's run this. And this is what the output looks like. I recommend that you pause the video for a second here and study the output, because it gives you a feeling of what the program actually does. Now I will bring up integration server again, and we will check whether the changes have worked. So as you can see, integration server has started up. Then let's go here. And here you can see that the server name has been changed to db2 as expected. And now the password. Yeah, this is the correct one. And the password is db2. So things have worked as expected. Now, if you want to change any other settings, there's a sample file that comes also with the distribution, and it lists all the values that are part of the JDBC adapter, plus a little bit of comment. There's also a README that comes with it, and that is also available on GitHub, and this also explains how to do things. And that's it for today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you are interested in further content like this, please do subscribe. Thank you very much for watching and have a great day.